This conference will now be recorded.
Okay. You can stay there and I'll bring this to you. All right.
You already started? Okay, I'd like to call the meeting to order. The time is 9:31. Opportunity for public comment. Callie, is there anybody? Nobody online?
No.
Okay. Next item is the action item regarding approval of minutes from March 27th. Asking for a motion and a second to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
You can, or Jean can.
Oh,
Second.
there you go. Discussion and action item regarding the BPAC bylaws. There you go.
Thank you. Thank y'all for braving the weather, first of all. Very exciting to have y'all here this morning because the weather is something else. Regarding the BPAC bylaw revisions, in 2011, KTMPO recommended actions to promote bicycle and pedestrian activities in our region. And by 2016, we had our first set of bylaws. In 2019 and in 2021, those bylaws were revised and approved by our policy board. At this time, staff recommends reviewing the bylaws to include the following changes. Expand our membership stakeholders to include citizen representatives for trails and equestrian interest. And specifically, we would like to invite Texas Parks and Wildlife and CARA to be a stakeholder representative, and as well as ONA and other equestrians if they so desire. We'd like to review the nomination process, review the terms, identify ex officio members, and I had to look that word up just so y'all know. So that's someone that would automatically be a member of the board because they hold a position or an office. And then also, we'd like to remove the telephone option as being considered present, and that would be in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. We'd like to increase our quorum to 50% plus one. That is what the other advisory committees of KTMPO are doing, as well as both of our boards, 50% plus one. Clarify the procedure when a chair or vice chair vacates their position before the term expires, and review the map. Once BPAC has revised and approved those amendments, we'll have to send this to the policy board for final approval. So we can either form a work group to make those amendments, discuss it here, or y'all are welcome to rely on staff to make those amendments. Does Jason have anything he'd like to contribute online?
He's having issues with hearing us, but other people are able to hear us, so.
It was a problem on my end. I fixed it and I can hear you now.
Okay, awesome. Jason, we just reviewed the BPAC bylaw revisions. Do you have anything that you would like to contribute to that conversation?
Not really. I understand that what I'm doing right now would probably go away, that I wouldn't be counted as present if I'm online. As far as could someone be online and still participate in the discussion, just couldn't necessarily make a motion or vote on any action items.
Actually, I'd like to clarify that, Jason. You can still be online with your camera on and be counted for quorum. It's okay. It's the telephone option.
Oh, okay, the telephone.
Yes, the telephone option that we would be removing.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense.
That clarified what I needed to know, because I thought it was, because like you couldn't be there, I felt like saying I couldn't be here for certain reasons, or anybody for that matter, being able to be online and be visible, that's as long as that works. But yeah, the telephone option, I agree. I don't have an issue with any of these, to be honest. I don't know if anybody else has any additions or any other.
Does this require a motion to approve, or a motion to let To defer to staff,
I believe we can
Yes.
approve or,
make a motion to defer to staff for these amendments. I'll second.
Thank y'all.
all right, next action item is agenda item number 5, basically the nomination of Teresa Chandler from the city of Nolanville to become a BPAC member. And go ahead, Anita.
And I believe Teresa's online. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Teresa Chandler is the interim city manager and city secretary for the city of Nolanville. And she's requested to become a member of BPAC because she has an interest in the bicycle and pedestrian activities in our region. And she would be willing to fill the vacancy left by Kara. And there's a written statement in her packet. Would you like to contribute anything to the conversation, Teresa? Okay.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. All right. No comments. No comments. But I'm glad. I'm looking forward to, hopefully, if I'm nominated, to participate in the BPAC organization. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any questions for her? Opinions? Come on.
Fully support.
There you go.
Yeah, a big welcome aboard, and I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve Teresa Chandler as a new BPAC member.
We didn't even have to consider, but congratulations. I believe you're now a member, correct, Anita?
Yes.
Yep. You're now a member.
Thank you. Thank you.
Heck, we could have got far at the same time.
Sorry, that's Amber.
Yeah, I guess, okay. Let's see. Oh, our next item is item number 6, officer election of the new vice chair. It just became vacant. And am I passing?
You can if you like, or you can read it.
Oh, I forgot where I was at, sorry.
That's
Over
okay.
there. Number 6, there we go, yeah. The vice chair vacancy, position became vacant when Kara resigned in spring of 2024. Election officer chair and vice chair are held each year in September. The bylaws state that officers shall serve 1-year term and may not succeed themselves in office more than once. I've recommended some nominees, but I didn't see anybody. Does anybody want to fill the position of vice chair? I know I kind of got elected to this position last September by chance, but is there anybody that would like to be part of that, or?
Can we review our options first?
Yes.
Terry?
Are there any volunteers?
Yes.
Uh,
The record, the officer.
Nominate and elect vice chair to serve until September 2024 and hold new election. Nominate and elect vice chair to serve until September 2025 or hold nomination and election until September 2024. And then action needed, consider nomination and election of vice chair to serve until September 2025.
I'll put my name out there.
Oh, thank you, Joe. And which option would you like?
I can do September 2025.
Okay.
I don't plan on going anywhere.
Okay.
Any other volunteers? Is this going to be a hot election season for BPAC? A long, arduous campaign? I'll go ahead and make a motion for Joe to serve as the vice chair until September 2025.
Thank you, Jason.
Second.
Thank you, Jean.
Next thing, agenda item number 7 is the, regarding the review of the draft of the 2050 Metropolitan Transportation Plan, Bike and Pedestrian Network. Like it open for discussion. Do I need to read anything?
Yeah, you can read.
But the Metropolitan Transportation Plan, this part, right?
Yes.
Is a 25-year document that outlines the state of current transportation, project future needs, and offers projects and other methods for keeping the people on the freight of the Killeen-Temple region moving effectively. The MTP encompasses all aspects of transportation planning as well as transportation projects within the Killeen-Temple region. Each local entity submits projects within their jurisdiction for possible inclusion into the MTP and the Transportation Planning Policy Board. Prioritizes these projects based on the needs of the region. This plan is required to be updated every 5 years.
And specifically, the chapter that we wanted to bring to BPAC was Chapter 6, the Bike and Pedestrian chapter. But before we move there, I wanted to let y'all know that it is open for public comment right now, and it began on June 3rd and ends July 17th. I'd like to encourage everyone, we have it posted on our social media with the links to the complete plan. Please share it with all your friends and colleagues, and especially those that are interested in our roadways so that they can comment. Every comment counts. The development plan was really quite rigorous. It was led by the policy board, and they asked us to ask the staff to come up with a vision, values, goals, and strategies. And we identified those and then rewrote some chapters significantly and then modified others. Our key, first of all, our vision statement is the KTMPO Mobility 2050 MTP will foster an innovative and sustainable multimodal transportation system that prioritizes safety, bolsters economic vibrancy, and enhances quality of life for Central Texas. The key values are equity, quality of life, fiscally responsible, future growth that's data-driven, innovation and adaptability, regional coordination, and public engagement. Our goals are mobility and connectivity, innovation, technology, asset management, environment, safety, and economic vitality. As it relates to Chapter 6, there's a copy over at the table if you're interested. Some of the changes that we would like to initiate are changing the title from Bike and Pedestrian Network to Active Transportation. We'd like to highlight and put our focus on regional coordination and public engagement with the use of innovative technology, similar to the bicycle network analysis tool that we had presented in December of 2023, alongside future plans to update the bicycle and pedestrian inventory that was completed, I think, for the RMP, please don't quote me on that acronym, 2018. Also, Chapter 6 calls out the opportunity that BPAC was given to conduct the subjective scoring project on the 2023 project call, and we also updated the bicyclist and pedestrian crashes and fatalities with the text.cris data. Moving forward, staff recommends to continue utilizing BPAC to support the implementation of regional bicycle and pedestrian policies, programs, strategies, and to enhance public and stakeholder engagement. That's one of the reasons we really want to look at our bylaws to expand that scope and draw more people in, especially citizens and stakeholder organization groups of the regional RMP, Regional Metropolitan Plan, that bicycle and pedestrian inventory list was extrapolated from, was updated in 2018, and it has a list of funded bicycle and pedestrian projects alongside projects waiting to be funded and then desired projects. And that was, the desired project list was taken from public feedback. So it's recommended that RMP be updated along with the inventory projects to ensure they still align with our current MTP MTP 2050 goals. And also, the final steps to move forward, it calls for the evaluation, revising, or potentially discontinuing the fitness-friendly business program based on what BPAC decides, which is another agenda item we'll be discussing later on. Do y'all have any questions? Anna, do you have any questions regarding the MTP 2050?
Not really.
Okay. Does anybody else? Jason or Teresa, do y'all want to contribute to anything?
I would just say, that we were able to have some feedback from the BPAC for the project scoring this year. Next cycle, we'd like to see more participation and just, highlight that, this is the overarching plan for the MPO. There's different plans, the regional metro or multimodal plan, the congestion management is just keep working to keep this committee involved in the process, get their feedback, give us work to do, give us projects to score, give us assignments to go take pictures of trails and parks and provide that to the staff. Just keep the committee engaged.
Thank you, Jason. That's very valuable input.
On Jason's note, I think when we voted on the projects this year, I think the BPAC, the members in the BPAC that did vote, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jason, that we actually had caused some controversy and opened up some discussion of what the Bicycle Pedestrian Advocacy Committee, in comparison to what the cities in themselves and the TAC decided what was important and what wasn't important to the people that, I don't have a stake in each city of what gets better and what gets worse. I just took the data and said, hey, this is what we had. But for the most part, we were within the top 5 or 6, all had it the same, but rated a little bit differently. I think we both agreed on item number 2, but like item number 1 for the TAC and the voting members, I think we ended up being item number 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think with our input, we actually made the TAC, because I went to the next meeting, they actually started talking about like, what was the BPAC thinking about when they voted for certain things and how we voted for it. And come to find out, when I went to the TAC meeting after that, we found out that maybe we missed something because we're not in that city, and like getting more involved in the project, getting us more involved in the projects and saying, hey, this is the project we're doing. We did one for the city of Temple where I was asked to do hey, would I back this as a BPAC chair? And then other projects, which is our next agenda item for the city of Killeen. But I think getting more people involved, and it's not an easy process, and I know that Anita and then James was valuable in helping me go through the process and decide what was important, how am I voting? Should I vote for, some things everything got the same score because I didn't have a vote or a piece of the pie in that project. So I think it made a big difference, and I think we opened a discussion as the BPAC, even though only a few of us did the work, and it was lengthy to go through, to say the least. So.
We thank you for your time, and Jason as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Did you have anything you wanted to contribute regarding the BPAC scores?
No, Gary said it. It did input, or it did impact what the ranking was. Belton had some projects that scored very high. Ultimately, didn't make it into the funding scenario because they overlap with some roadway projects with I-35 that probably wouldn't make sense to fund those projects now, but it highlighted the value that people were placing on the trail projects and some of the sidewalk projects. Even if they didn't get funded, they were looked at and discussed. So then the question is, okay, we know we want to build that, and it's a question of timing. So yeah, this committee had input into that decision. Gary's, like you said, he's sat there and watched us hash it out.
Thank you.
And we'll talk about the fitness friendly.
Just 1 second. Hey, Jason, Are you going to be able to stick around for the fitness-friendly conversation, or should we move that agenda?
Yeah, I'll
item
be
up?
here. I'll be here till about 10:25, and then I've got to jump off for a 10:30 meeting with city management.
Okay, thank you, Jason.
So we're moving along pretty quickly.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, next up is agenda item number 8, the letter of support for the city of Killeen for the Readiness and Environmental Protection Integration Program. The background on this: in 2023, the United States Department of Defense joined forces with the Department of Interior to preserve land around military installations and improve access to outdoor recreation. Through this program, the heavy and constant training load at Port Cavazos creates a number of encroachments concerns with the city of Killeen, Copperas Cove, Gatesville, and other adjacent communities. Development pressures can lead to the restrictions of training that causes noise, dust, or smoke, uses pyrotechniques, or requires a dark night sky. To alleviate these concerns, Port Cavazos is partnering with the Compatible Lands Foundation to protect undeveloped and compatibility used lands, particularly near heavily used maneuver lanes and live fire ranges. The Port Cavazos project aims to protect the local agriculture, heritage, and maintain the military mission so important to the local economy. By preserving farms, ranches, and important natural resources in the area while supporting recreational opportunities, the project is helping avoid potential conflicts with training activities and projected military readiness. And pass this over to Crystal. Crystal?
Hi, Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
Do you want to, I've got 4 slides up here that you sent. Do you want me to just
Sure.
put them through?
Just to start out, we have Fort Hood Regional Trail, which is an existing trail we have in Killeen. This is about just over a mile on the west side. So this would, we're proposing that a new park, if you go to the next slide, please. We're proposing that this proposed Westside Regional Park will connect to Fort Cavazos Regional Trail to expand the bicycle and trail network. The proposed Westside Regional Trail would be about over 6 miles of natural trails and hard trails. So it would expand this network, and we are also planning on eventually connecting this north side to the south side to Central Texas A&M. So in total, there would be about over 10 miles of trails connecting the north to the south. And this is in line with the park's master plan from 2022. This is a slide of the trails network. So it's all in line with our city's plan to expand this to all of our parks and all over the city, as you can see. And I believe there might be one more slide. If you'll go to the next slide, please. This is the proposed Westside Regional Park, which is on the north side of West Killeen, right south of 190. So this is a proposed park. We are attempting to get this a grant through the Land and Water Conservation Fund, a federal grant program which would possibly fund phase 1 of Westside Regional Park. As you can see, there is a connection on the, so it would be southeast. There's a connection there to the existing Fort Hood Regional Trail. And as you can see, there is a road and several options for trails, soft and hard. And we're really excited to hopefully just get this started. So that's all I have for you.
Thank you, Crystal. Does anyone have any questions for Crystal?
Could I get a copy?
Sure, thank you.
I'm just not oriented to. Oh, way over there.
We can send everything out to everyone. We have all the documents, so we can email those out to you, Anna.
Right, west side, I was thinking like West Fort Hood.
Okay.
So this park actually connects to Fort Hood. There is, on the west side, there's actually Fort Hood housing right there. And it's also, this is land that is owned by the military. Good. On the north side of the park.
And KTMPO has drafted a letter in support of the grant, so we'll be having that signed by your Ryan Nelson, our director, and get that to you.
Fantastic, thank you so much.
Well, we're going on to agenda item number 5, or number 9, excuse me. Gotta get my glasses on. I'm not gonna mask your last names. To present from the Texas Parks and Wildlife. She's the local parks grants coordinator for Texas Parks and Wildlife. Carl was formerly the city manager of Nolanville for 9 years and retired as an environmental science and engineering officer from the military after 22 years. She was stationed at Fort Cavazos more times than not during her military career and considers Central Texas her home. She believes there is so much potential to link recreational amenities with greenway trails in the region, and all of it would take is a concerted effort led by the BPAC to fill the gaps between our amazing cities. Carl?
All right, I'll be really quick because a lot of you are pretty familiar with some of these programs I'm going to talk about. I am pretty new to the department, so if there's some questions I don't know, I'll bring back. It's nice to see you, Crystal, in person, and I'm glad that she's able to present on one of the grants that we're working right now for REPI, and I'm glad that there's a board of rep here too. So I did the agenda with ChatGPT, so I fairly amazing. But there we go. We'll go real quick though. There are a lot of slides, but you can just use it for reference.
You don't have to go fast, because I might learn something.
I know Jason's got to go and something. That's
I think we got 20 minutes, so.
Okay. So this is the mission and philosophy, and then this is something for Crystal to take note of when she's writing her grant here for REPI. Is the TORP goals outlined. These are the goals, and one of them is to increase access to participation in outdoors. And so when you're putting these grants together, they like to see that linkage between your plan and their plan. So just keep that in mind. The first one I'm going to talk about is recreational trails grants. This is BPAC, so that's everyone's big focus here. This grant is unique in that it doesn't have to be a city, it can be, but it can also be nonprofits can apply for this award grant. It's due February 1st each year typically. Another unique aspect to this program is the people that work on this recreational trail grants, they actually install trails themselves, like they'll go out and install them. So they are subject matter experts, and so if you have a question about trails and maintenance or want to seek assistance, I would highly recommend reaching out to them. Okay. And they also fund paddle trails. And so I've got a picture of Nolan Creek there because I think it would be a phenomenal paddle trail. It usually has water in it. I've gone through it a couple times, and it's a really nice scenic route.
Do they have water in it during the drought?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't the funnest, but there's like 12 areas in the Nolanville stretch that need to be dredged to make it, completely navigable without having to drag your boat. But for the most part, it's a really nice trail. This is a little map that was put together to show how Nolan Creek could be used as a regional trail to link between the cities. And there's already a plethora of assets along Nolan Creek, and these are just some of the parks that are along there now. Okay. Another thing when you're doing any of these grant applications, accessibility is a huge focus right now. So as you're putting these together, make sure you take that into consideration. And also, as I mentioned, linking the plan, like linking your goals with the TORP is important, but also linking your plan with other plans is also important when we write our KTMPO projects. This is already emphasized where they want to see, like, how does your project tie into the greater good of the region. And so this is the TxDOT bicycle tourism map. So this is something that you could mention in your trail applications, looking towards, especially since we have like a supplemental route that's included in this plan. And that yellow highlight shows where that lies.
Is there, are those routes like on top of, they intersect with TxDOT?
This is the TxDOT one, or you mean the Nolanville one?
Yeah, well, on the next slide that you just was on.
This is just zooming into that last one. These are the supplemental ones on that tourism map.
Are those roads or those trails?
Yes, they're roads primarily, yeah.
And then if you go back to that other map, if you don't mind, getting an education here.
Lampasas has like one of the primary routes going through it.
Can you walk up to that map and show us?
Which one?
Like that, you said Lampasas on this one here?
Yeah, I don't know if I can orientate myself that way.
Okay.
But Lampasas has a blue line on it, which means like primary.
Is that the one that they're building? That 580 trails? Like the nonprofit's doing it?
I don't know. It might.
Okay.
I don't know about that one. But there's the regional route for ours. And this was done with input from us like back in 2015, 2016. All right, some other things that I wanted to highlight on here so that you can show linkage in your plans is just showing where it falls in line with another, like state park is a good strategy. So there's a link for that. And I just wanted to highlight that they have an app too now, that so you can find out more resources from those individual state parks. And they have a whole list of all of the, or they have a map for every state park that has a trail. They have a map link on there. It's not interactive, like we've kind of, like that's been one of our goals is trying to have an interactive trail application, but they're getting closer. The hiking project has a good one. So local park grants is the department that I belong to and the program that I manage. And I don't know why this came up black, but basically this link will take you to a list of the different grants that are available. It's urban, outdoor, there's an indoor grant available this year, and they don't have that every year, so it's something to take note of. And there's a small community grant too, and there's population and like grant thresholds, but essentially 1.5 million is about most of the cities can apply here, and it requires 50% match, so 750 from the local partner and then 750 from his personal life.
Can you email me that link to that?
I think I gave you a screenshot of that yesterday.
Okay.
And then if you click on that box, like that should go there. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
And so the application period is open right now and it closes August 1st. The reason I felt like it's appropriate to brief this for BPAC in particular is because you can do internal trails within a park. And so you could essentially use this to install some more trails or provide a linkage. The other thing I wanted to highlight on the recreational trails grants is they don't like to do projects that seem like a sidewalk, like something that you didn't plan for or install when something was being developed. So I wouldn't waste too much time on those. They're more interested in like nature-based trails. Not meaning that you can't have concrete on a nature-based trail, but if it's going along a drainage canal that's got houses on both sides, it's probably not going to be an attractive project to them. But this could be if it has a linkage to your park. One other recent change with this particular grant is you don't have to have it all in one park. You can do more than one park, so you can split that amount into a couple of different parks or like a linear connection, such as what Killeen-Temple's doing. But it just try to, when you're going for the application, you need to have all of the deeds and all that cleared out, because If it looks like it's going to take a lot of coordination after the grant is funded, then they're going to worry about you being able to finish it within the performance period, which is generally between 3 and 4 years. Another thing that I want to highlight and urge you to take advantage of is if you're thinking about if the city's going to buy a piece of property or come into a piece of property, somehow coordinate with Texas Parks and Wildlife before you make the transaction so you can do a letter of retroactivity. So and then that amount that you pay for that land can count towards your match. And that, from what I understand, it accounts for parkland dedication.
Is there a, I guess, a statute of limitations on that?
Yeah, 5 years.
Okay.
Okay, so this is an exciting new program, and because I had some military background, they were like, this screams your name. So they put me in charge of REPI for the state. I'm in charge of the Gulf Coast region for the local park grants, but I'm doing REPI throughout the state of Texas. So I will be working with Crystal on this and Fort Cavazos, and I'm hopeful that it'll be the first one that gets funded under this particular program, which is the readiness and recreation part. There's been REPI projects done before in the past. It's just been for conservation easements, conservation buffers, wildfire buffers, those kind of projects. This is the first cycle for Texas where we have potentially submitted projects for the REPI readiness and integration. Readiness and recreation. Got it. This application period is ending very quickly though. It's June 28th, so there's not very much time to get the projects together. But it's important for all those installations that he just mentioned in the letter of support, when they're about to acquire land or like develop a project, like this is something to consider, and early coordination is helpful. So get with the Fort Cavazos, ahead of time because you do need an installation support.
Does the park have to be adjacent to Fort Cavazos?
No, it just has to be in the joint land use planning area. J-Leaves. It's called J-Leaves, but I think they moved the name to something else. I don't remember what they called it, but basically it's all those areas where, like for instance, Prairie Haynes is like a crash zone. So they don't want houses, right next to the airstrip.
So Perry Haynes would be eligible for it?
They're already doing REPI under a different umbrella. Not under, I wish it was under this one, but it's just going to be under the conservation one, which is just fine.
And so when does the next cycle open up?
It'll be almost in line with the local parks grant. So I believe that was May 1st. So about May 1st next year, it'll open up again. They do expect it to be offered annually, just like we did. So
now's the time to start planning.
Yeah.
Next year, because will it take a whole year to get all the coordination?
So with any of the grant, for this one, we're hoping that they can get done and submit before June 28th is the goal. It'll be a very big feat if they do. I mean, a huge accomplishment if they can get all that done. So, and if not, then we just submit it again and refine it even more. So, but some of the other areas are like if you have, it mentioned dark skies. It mentioned there's also, in San Antonio especially, if they have any areas that protect like the aquifer or natural resources, they can go out so it doesn't have to be continuous with the base. Okay. It helps visually and for people to understand it, but it doesn't have to be. Okay. So those are, like I mentioned, some previous projects that have been funded under REPI. And if you go to the website, there's a fact sheet for each of the bases, and all of Fort Hoods is on there. It was recently populated.
I included that link with Crystal's information in the packet.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to get into the specifics here, but this is just what to expect if you do get a grant. A couple of things I wanted to highlight, which I already talked about before, is the performance period is 3 to 4 years. That means if you have any coordination for, especially like with water, and you have to get like core permits or approval, do those in advance, submit your Texas Historic Commission's notification that you're doing a project, send out your tribe letters, all that stuff gets your project ready. It makes it more attractive to the people who have to manage it because they're like, oh, yeah, I think they're going to be able to get this done. So one of the scoring criteria for this, this grant and all the other ones is when you have outside letters of support. And I feel like BPAC is, a great example of how you can throw your support behind some of these local projects to get them funded. So thank you for supporting Crystal's project, Colleen's project. And so, you had asked, who did you want the letter to come from, and send them all. It can be private organizations that are in support of the project. It can be BPAC, COG, TAC, Policy Board. The more, the better. Also, don't forget to get your local politicians to write letters as well. These are pictures of just some eligible outdoor activities. Dog parks, obviously skate parks. Nolanville just funded the Fox Park with this particular grant, Fox Skate Park. And many of the amenities in Monarch Park were funded through it. I know Belton has just closed out a project and now is awarded a new project. I don't think Temple has very many going on, or they might have in the past, but, and then I think Killeen is starting to look at some more grant opportunities through this program. So you'll have to forgive me because some of this I was doing for the Texas National Naturalist, but I wanted to just kind of highlight that, a park grant isn't just for playgrounds. It's an opportunity for people to enjoy green space and improve their health by being out in nature. And these are some of the projects that can be done as match. So you can have the volunteers go and install these types of activities within the park, and you can document their hours, and that can help you with the match if that's a concern.
Wow.
So,
That's really nice.
this is just some examples of some of the things that can enhance an application. Have interpretive sighting, community gardens, just simple things like that. Okay, and then when you're in your application, you can talk about the planned and passive engagement that you plan to do in that space. Okay, there's some examples of bird lion and riparian restoration. So we had Texas Master Naturalists come and reseed a drainage channel that's next to the park with some native prairie grasses. And then very importantly is that the indoor facility grant is available, and it's not always. So if you have a project that's ready to submit, I would encourage you to give it a shot. And this is an example of a very cool interpretive center that was recently done. And these are 3 other recreational grants that I knew about, but I didn't realize how very cool they are. So this boating access grant will actually help design and permit and construct. They hold your hand through the whole thing. And so if you have some navigatable water, I would encourage you to look into that one. The co-op grant, that's another one that doesn't have to be a city. It can be like a nonprofit or a private organization that's providing a recreational opportunity to underserved population. And this is a pretty good amount. The target range, this is, so if you'll notice it says minimum award of $150,000. This grant can pay for indoor and outdoor target ranges. I guess the Texas never forget that they have the right to bear arms.
Very nice.
They want to have target ranges everywhere. But that's a pretty, and again, that one doesn't have to be city owned or a public. It can be a private. So that's.
Is the target range, could it be like archery? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And that is all I have. I just wanted to make sure you guys are aware of the opportunities and
Listen, Really impressive. Thank you.
And that's my boss's info. That's it.
Do you have any questions, Teresa or Jason or anyone else online?
Nope, no questions here. Thank you, Kara.
No, thanks for bringing us some of that stuff to attention. The target range is fascinating.
Yes. We're all stuck there right now. No.
Oh, one of the other things that I wanted to mention about the recreational grants before we close this up, they have an allocation specific for off the track or off the road vehicles, OTVs, which I thought was impressive that somebody lobbied in order to get like a piece of the pie just for that activity. I definitely think the equestrians should have like a percentage dedicated towards it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Kara. That was really excellent. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Kara. All right.
Do you mind turning this page to the next one for us? Thanks.
There you go. Agenda item number 10, update. I should really wear my glasses. Update on fitness-friendly business program. The fitness-friendly business program recognizes local businesses as being bicycle and pedestrian friendly. This initiative can drive economic success, decrease congestion, promote healthy lifestyles, increase quality of life. Businesses catering towards cyclists and pedestrians can provide several positive impacts, not only in the community, but for the businesses. Non-motorized users can save on fuel and vehicle maintenance costs, allowing them to spend more on goods, hobbies, and recreational activities. Bicycles and pedestrians are more likely to notice businesses when biking and walking than traveling in an automobile, which can also drive economic success. At the March 2024 BPAC meeting, members discussed the program and asked staff to research and provide an update. And I'll hand it to Anita.
Jason, are you still on?
I am, just for a few more minutes.
Okay, I'm going to do this in a nutshell. I reviewed all the information that BPAC had on the fitness-friendly business program, and it seems to me that it's a real big burden for the businesses to carry when cities might have a better benefit of being fitness-friendly. Like, I was reviewing all the regulations, and they just seem to all be barriers to really making our region a fitness-friendly region with fitness-friendly businesses. Two of the things I thought of, if you're out walking or riding a bike or riding a horse, what are the two things you need? Water and a place to go to the bathroom. And putting that on a business appears to me to be a heavy responsibility, whereas if we approached our cities and asked our cities to become fitness-friendly and maybe explore working with Keep Texas Recycling, who does the water bottle recycling, and maybe get some of those contactless water fountains around the city and places for people to go to the bathroom during the day. I know that bathroom use is a hot mess for individuals that are experiencing homelessness, but just like to be a little bit more forward thinking and not put that responsibility on our businesses in our community. And let's perhaps start partnering with the cities to become a region that is fitness friendly. Austin sort of tags themselves as one of the top 5 cities that are fitness friendly, and they attribute almost everything to what their outdoor recreational sports and their parks. So that's my recommendation would be to explore something along those ideas, and to maybe connect with the DDCT, which is the District Development of Central Texas, to explore city interest in promoting bicycle or fitness businesses.
I think part of the reason that this was initiated is to try to highlight that the BPAC existed, and like having that emblem in the business window was kind of like oh, what's that? getting them to just know that there's a coordinated effort to making it happen. So, but if it's not being promoted or done, there's no reason to keep doing it.
Well, it seemed like that the last activity that I found on file was in 2017.
That was when John Weber left.
Yeah.
And it just seems that it's very intense for a business to meet some of those regulations set forth in the application, which I did email out to everyone. To me, those would be barriers. But that's just my thoughts.
I'm willing to sit down and look over what you see as the barriers. I like your idea of having the cities get engaged with the businesses. We've got different forms we can do that through either Chamber of Commerce or our marketing communication folks or downtown business committees. I like that idea. But it always did take a staff member driving the bus or pushing the pedal, so to speak. So it's always going to be some staff time to encourage the businesses to participate. And yeah, you make a good point about the unhoused people. But that was part of the idea, is that the trail users, cyclists, equestrians do have a restaurant that is somewhat monitored and clean, versus your public restrooms at parks are not always the nicest place. So that the businesses, your gas stations, Barrel Brewing was an early adopter. Places like that are going to provide a nice facility versus a public restroom in a park, which are not. But yeah, I'm willing to sit down, and because I was there when we started it, and figure out a way to resurrect it. If you guys have staff time and we can find a way to get some city staff involved, that's the push it's going to need. It's just going to need staff effort to get the businesses to climb on board.
Well, I'm willing to do whatever needs to be done. I just these were my recommendations. Do you think that we should have a work group, Jason, to really test it out?
Let's set up a work group. Figure out who it should be. But yeah, if you can set that up, I'll gladly be part of that. And with that, I'm going to jump off, guys. Thank you so much. Kara, good to see your face.
Nice to see you.
Thank you, Jason, for everything.
Right. See y'all.
Jason jumped off where I chatted, but was anybody else present when this program was on board? Like what do you, as a business person that owns a bicycle friendly business, what are the barriers that you guys saw getting the businesses involved? I mean, I know there's a $25 fee to be part of that. Is that a barrier for a small business? Would that be a barrier for
There was like a lot of excitement when it was first done. Like Jason was mentioning the Barrow Brewing, and they would highlight it on the Facebook page, and the cyclists were like psyched that they had this they installed an outdoor like tap for water bottles and stuff. And then we had funding for like bicycle holders or whatever, like bicycle racks, and then the repair stations that were like, so all that kind of stuff was happening at the same time, allocating those resources and trying to promote this friendly business, business friendly.
So that would be a question for you also. Would that be something that a city could, bicycle friendly or hiking friendly community could put in for a grant? Or, because I know some of the parks have the bicycle pumps and stands. I don't know if they're ever,
Chances are they came from Killeen-Temple.
Yeah, so the cities, how are they maintained? I know the one that I've seen go to has not been very well maintained, but is there a grant is there a way that as the K-Tempo can apply as a K-Tempo grant for the entire county, getting the cities involved to say, hey, let's do an upgrade using a grant to upgrade these, because we don't have any funding, to say, hey, this is we need to upgrade these facilities. We need to put water, bottleless water places in different parks. like Borrow does the spout, but they don't, I don't believe, I've been out there, they don't have like a pump. I think it's a pump, a couple tools and different things where a person can work on their bike at that stand. I know that the one on Fifth Street does, but is there a way that makes us a bicycle-friendly community as a whole, saying that, you know, Bell County, Belton, Nolanville, Temple are bicycle pedestrian-friendly communities, and can we get a grant to do that? I think Jason, with committing a group, like what are the barriers to get the business involved? I mean, I'm a business owner and it's tough right now. So,
Well, when I was looking at the application, they had, I think, 7 things listed on there, and I'm sorry I didn't print those out. And then you had to like have 3 of those to be considered. And to me, those were barriers. To me, if they offer water in a bathroom, they should be fitness friendly. That's just something that I'm thinking of, because if I'm out walking or riding my bikes, those are the 2 things that I'm really thinking about. Is where can I get me some water, or where can I go to the bathroom at?
or like installing a rack, like, I don't know, the fitness gym or something like that is a place where you can walk over and lock your bike up. How do we get that so we can assist that business to improve and say, hey, we're a bicycle friendly business, we water, bathroom, and we also have a place where you can lock your bikes. Because I know that's come up in a public comment about how do they go to these businesses and lock their bikes up. So how do we promote the business to say, yeah, this is something that I invest in, and is there a place we can find money to say, hey, this business wants to be a part of it, but they don't have a permanent bike rack that somebody can lock their bike to or something like that. Or they don't have a waterless fountain. We do bottled water, we do a bottled water kind of thing. But again, we have to supply all cups. And we do pedestrians, whoever comes into our business. Again, that's an investment where the small business is investing in. It's not as big as if you're going to Walmart, where they may have more options. But I don't think the Walmart over here in Temple has a bike rack to lock your bike to. I've seen a lot of bikes lock the poles, but I haven't seen any bike rack in particular. So how do we promote it overall? That's just my 2 cents.
Yes. And Jason, did suggest a work group. So if anyone, if we really want to revive it, redesign it, is there anybody else that would like to be on a work group for it?
I'll be on the group.
No,
Okay. And there's a lot of people on vacation, so we can send that out. Because I'll support it in whatever way it needs to be moved forward. I just think it needs to be re-energized.
Anything else? Next is agenda item number 11, update on bicycle and pedestrian activities. And local updates on bicycle and pedestrian activities are a standing item for staff and BPAC members to discuss and share information regarding recent local and regional bicycle and pedestrian events, equestrian activities, outdoor news, and local and state parks, etc. Due to the ever-evolving landscape of bicycle and pedestrian activities, and to provide consistent, up-to-date information, K-Tempo staff recommends utilizing various social media channels, primarily K-Tempo Facebook, and communicate local events and activities and news.
So these are just a few that I picked out for this upcoming weekend, the Holland Corn Festival. I thought that was a fun one. And biking 1 mile, 5K, 10K, and 15K and half marathon. And that seems to be a reoccurring event. And then there's the Juneteenth run in Killeen this Saturday. And the FIRE, Fire, Family, and Friends in Killeen. And the toughest 10K in Lampasas. Cops and Robbers in Salado. And HEB plus Summer Fun Run in Coppers Cove. And the Volks Ride in October in Salado, which is a real popular one. So there seems to be more runs than bicycle events. So if y'all have any bicycle events that you would like to highlight, or equestrian type events, please tag us, email it to us, let me know, and we'll be happy to get the word out. Oh, also I wanted to let y'all know that the State Kids Coalition has restarted, and that is a collaborative effort between RTAC and McLean Children's Baylor Scott and White Hospital, and their focus is to reduce or prevent children injuries. And some of the things that align with what KTMPO does are the car seat safety checks, as well as their annual Safe Kids Day and bike rodeo. The car seat safety program is going to really be kicking off strong. If y'all know anyone that wants to get involved in that, they're looking for places to, they're training up technicians, and they're looking for places to have a drive-through where the technician can check the car seat, make sure it's installed properly, make sure the child is the right height for that car seat, and then also if that family needs a car seat, they'll be providing a free car seat. So there's going to be several of those events, and we'll be sharing those on our social feed as well. And then on September 4th through 6th, the Texas Trails and Active Transportation Conference is being held in Austin. I'd like to encourage everyone that is a lover of the outdoors to see if they can go. Carol, will you be going to that one?
So I think we should change, I mean, we do bicycle pedestrian, but I think there's also the equestrian thing. So a lot of people have got in mind because you've opened up your trails to a lot of mountain bikers. And with the recent rainy season, she's like the only place people can ride and not really know, and a lot of people don't even know about it.
Right.
But being able to open up that, and then is there any way K-Temple or BPAC can dedicate going along with the bicycle friendly community, just a page that gets updated? I know it's, you guys are short staffed, and if there's a way that we can have it better, because there's groups out there, there's Women on Wheels, Borrow does a huge ride twice a week, they also have a run group that goes once a week, and there's other groups that do rides, and then runs. You've got the local run series that's on there, and then I'm sure you just had an equestrian event that was pretty.
Right, we had that, and we've had lots of runs out there too.
So how we can increase the bicycle friend, the fitness friendly community, can it be a one page that a go-to? I know we looked at it for parks, you guys were gonna do a parks thing at one point, where you highlighted parks, but that's, I mean, it's all inclusive to making it a friendly community.
Right.
And I think that's the ultimate goal that everybody has here, is this is a fitness friendly community. Bicycles, pedestrians, and equestrians are part of it, but also parks are part of it, and these events bring in money for other businesses, and how we can promote that as an overall. It's something to look at. Maybe Anita can look at it as the K-Temple person, or K-Temple in general can look at it like.
I can review it and report at the next BPAC meeting. How's that? Because I know that we had the trails and we were emphasizing trails. However, what we learned is that the cities already have their websites with their trails. So I think what the plan was, and I was new when this was started, so I'm just going back into my brain. I think what we ended up doing was looking at what the cities had and putting the city's logo on our website, and then you could tap on that, click on their city's logo, and it would take you to their trail. I think so, but I can go back and research it and report that next meeting exactly where we're at with that. I think that one of the things that I have personally learned is that updating information that's constantly changing out there and providing it to everyone can become a full-time job. And if that's the direction that BPAC wants to go, we can do that. I think social media, like sharing what's happening on social media is much more effective than, but the problem is that there's a lot of groups and they're private groups. So extrapolating information to share on like KTMPO's Facebook page can be challenging because I went in as a group member and I don't think that I can share events that are happening inside of the group publicly.
And that's just, I think as a public though, like your stuff is all public, right? Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So as a public thing, I think we promote the public stuff. If it's a private group,
Yeah.
it's a different story. But
Yeah.
promoting that fitness-friendly community and building something from that to encompass everything. Because we've been trying to get out to ride your trails for a long time, just haven't been able to. So.
There's nowhere else to go. Come on down.
There is, right now for trails, there is no other place to ride, and I didn't know, you said you're not getting much rain down there, so I mean, and I don't know of a lot of people that know that you allow a lot of mountain bikes. I mean, we promoted it to ride mountain bike trails, but I mean, everybody's thinking everybody's got rain. People are talking about having PTSD from the next rainstorm because they can't go mountain biking at Dana Peak. I mean,
Generally speaking, we'll get maybe 4 or 5 bike riders a year. That's it.
And you're open to more?
Yeah, I don't want, we have a hazard there, a hill with horses and the bikes. So we talk to anybody that's hiking, biking, riding, that those of us on horseback, we're gonna get injured the worst. So it's just like with the other programs that are around here to be able to see and keep it calm. Just like fishermen come out and they go to the Lampasas River, there is no more access anymore because the old bridge was shut down. We'll usually encourage small groups, like 1, 2, or 3, so it doesn't get overwhelming to the horses and scare the heck out of them. We're willing to have more, just small numbers, if that makes sense, only for safety.
Yeah. Makes sense to me. So what would you like us to do, Gary?
well, I think you should come back, and see what we can do to kind of get the activities and events kind of coordinated. As an example, this past weekend, there was the Belton had their Lion Stampede. And again, a lot of people, and this is just coming from me owning a bicycle shop in this area. It was a surprise. We were out of town, but it was still a surprise that happened. Well, the same weekend, firing happened in Gatesville, which you're dividing which is okay. You can divide the stuff, but again, it's a matter of how do we promote both events or not get both events the same day is the kind of thing. And I don't know what you ended up having for people-wise on your Stampede days.
What day was this?
It was Saturday. So it was the Killeen Lions. So private, nonprofit. They used one of our parks as a start and but the pictures I saw, it seemed like it was like the crowd was a lot less than normal.
Oh.
And that's, just so everybody knows, we've talked to a couple different communities, the fire ant people. They said that theirs is down about 100 people. They had a couple other events up in Dallas that they've supported and throughout Texas, and seeing numbers 2, 3.